What's going on, everybody? Nick Lawson here from Squad Sports, and this is episode 21 of your sports sponsorship tip of the week. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in for another week of this. As you know, everything's changing rapidly. It seems like every day we have a new piece of information. Every day sponsors are looking for something new. And what's intriguing is we kind of got past the shock point for a lot of our sponsors and even our teams. And now it's really the action point. Now it's time to really get down, get nitty gritty, and try to make sure that our partners stay with us. A lot of that is digital activation. We've been doing it with some of our clients here at Squad of just being able to fill that role of not having live games. For so long, we've really relied on live games as that content piece, as that reason why you sponsor us. Now live games are gone. We have to create new ways to engage, connect, and bring value as they're sponsoring us or advertising with us. Really, again, remember that we're almost like an agency with a massive amount of following. And sometimes a better analogy is we're almost like an influencer, right? We have fans, they love our brand, our teams, and what we stand for, and we're able to connect or introduce brands to our fans in an easy, sort of seamless way. So as you're thinking of these activations, really think of it in that sort of aspect. Again, a lot of great activations, simulated games. Rich and I jumped onto it last week on the Inches podcast. So it was great on that end to kind of go over those. But this week, I want to talk about how sponsorship can actually be your budget driver for ticket sales, right? And I know I don't talk a lot about ticket sales on this. We're all about sponsorship. I'm really trying to help you on the sponsorship side. But I'd be remiss to not bring up the fact that our budgets in ticket sales are going to drop. We're not going to have as many dollars per se as we did. We're not going to have as many salespeople as we did post this than we did before. So we have to think of really efficient, intriguing ways to really go out and grab those dollars in a way and almost fund some of that ticketing marketing. And what a really intriguing analogy, if you ever watched the U Part 2, great series on ESPN 30 for 30. But in the U Part 2, I believe it was Butch Davis, when he took over the University of Miami athletics, he had no scholarships because they had just gone over from NCAA violations. So he had almost no scholarships and no reason why athletes should come to his college. Funny enough, what he did, and I think this was extremely smart, is he got football athletes to come and become on a track scholarship. So you had, Santana Moss, I believe, who was a great track athlete, but he got that high caliber player to come and funded it based on a track athletic scholarship. I almost want to do the same thing within sponsorship. And right before the shutdown happened, came across this great information. As you know, with a lot of our clients, we're just trying stuff. We're trying to see how some of our activations, but then other things that I put on sports sponsorship tip of the week, really engage and connect. Some of these are hypothesis, and you see how they can work out. The most intriguing insight that I got was, as you may know, what we do at Squad is after, let's say from a trivia, we get some of those emails. Teams will take those emails and retarget them with sponsor advertising, right? So, let's say for Toyota is going to retarget with Toyota messaging from their local dealership, and we'll do that through Facebook ads. We'll basically say, hey, come check out a game with Toyota. Your local dealership is helping you out. The most intriguing stat with that was those paid for by the sponsor retargeting ads that really focused on the sponsor messaging were returning 1.5x in ticket sales. So let me go over that again. The sponsor paid for the retargeting ads, and the messaging was all about the sponsor. When we tracked those, though, it brought enough interest to the team that for every dollar that they spent out of the sponsorship budget for retargeting, again, still did what it needed to do on the sponsorship side and reach those goals. The effect of it, though, was it returned $1.50 in ticket sales, right? So then you have almost this investment reinvestment piece where if you took for every dollar you spent on that sponsorship activation retargeting that comes from the sponsor, you get $1.50 back. You take that 50 cents and go retarget that into a campaign that maybe returns you 30x or 15x, which you totally can do within ticketing. If you're not running Facebook ads, run them today. They return 15 to 30x. Not to say that they can replace a salesperson, but without pretty much doing anything other than managing the campaign, they can bring in as many tickets as a salesperson. But again, I want to focus in on the sponsorship side. As we go and we retarget and we run retargeting campaigns where we're running Facebook campaigns for the sponsor, Instagram campaigns for the sponsor, again, reaches all the sponsor goals. They actually return dollars in ticketing because we're getting our brand out there. People see the logo and say, hey, by the way, we should go to a Winterhawks game, right? So as you think about that and you think about this spectrum, do not discount the ability to create retargeting Facebook ads based on the emails you collect. Definitely retarget those because it's going to bring value to the sponsor. Again, it's going to bring something that they can't get just by running the ads themselves, your logo. But then understand that that investment by the sponsor is going to return you $1.50 for every dollar you spend. All right. So again, a new way to kind of think about, if you haven't gotten into that retargeting, it's another reason why to get into the retargeting. It's great for the sponsor, but again, it also returns those ticket sales. So I guess the actionable insight here is as you're going out and you're talking to these sponsors with no games, offer to do a retargeting piece for them where you're going to take some emails from a campaign, retarget them with their sponsor messaging, and then set up some sort of way that maybe somebody could buy future tickets and it'll return you. Or when we get games back and we see that decrease in ticket sales, if you don't have the budget to run Facebook ads, use sponsorship activation retargeting in order to build that budget. Again, you're spending that dollar on a program that totally fits the sponsor's goals, and it just so happens to return $1.50 for you in ticketing. So if you don't have those large budgets, make sure you look at sponsorship activation toward those retargeting campaigns as a way to build up that war chest and then reinvest that 50 cents back into a campaign that's solely on ticketing that might return maybe a 15 to a 30x that money. You can have no marketing budget and 100% will work. So again, tip of the week this week, run retargeting campaigns. They're great for the sponsors, but then also understand that those are going to be a great tactic to then return ticketing money back into your pocket for your team. So that's your sports sponsorship tip of the week. Make sure you're diving into that, thinking of new ways to engage sponsors. Remember, keep pushing those limits within sports sponsorship.